We've got ants, thousands of them, and they have managed to get into just about everything we own, even our photo albums. And apparently, that wasn't the only thing waiting for us when we got home. Last time you saw us, we were leaving WA, crossing the Nullarbor and heading home after another year on the road. If you missed those episodes, we shared what it cost to cross the Nullarbor during the fuel crisis and what it really felt like being home again. And after being away for so long, there was plenty waiting for us back home. But 2 months later, winter had arrived, the sun had disappeared, and quite frankly, both we and the solar panels had had enough. And then we got a phone call.
Cape York, we're in. We're back into Victoria. We're back where we've got family and friends. So we're going to hang around Port Fairy for a while, and we'll give you an update on what we think about Port Fairy. It's one of our favourite towns in the world.
One of the things we love most about Port Fairy is its history. Wander through town and you'll find beautifully preserved buildings, cottages, old whaling era buildings, and reminders of a past that is still very much part of the town today. And then there's one tradition that simply cannot be skipped. If you've been to Port Fairy, you've seen Rebecca's Cafe. And if you've seen Rebecca's, chances are you've walked out with one of their famous yo-yos. It's become a bit of a ritual for me. And honestly, it wouldn't feel like a Port Fairy visit if I didn't take home some. For us, Port Fairy is more than just another stop on the map. Darren's pop was born here and my grandfather grew up just 30 kilometres down the road. Knowing that gives this place an even deeper connection every time we visit. One walk we never miss is the track out to Griffith's Island Lighthouse. It takes you between the Moyne River and the Southern Ocean, and it's just one of those walks where you naturally slow down and take it all in. It's been almost a year since we've seen Darcy and Darren, and when you've got a year's worth of stories to tell, one beer was never gonna cut it.
We went head first into the fire, watched the flames rise higher, love. We were burning so damn bright, just like a shooting star turns into dust.
History, beautiful scenery, family connections, and catching up with our great mates. It's easy to see why Port Fairy is always a winner for us, but it's time to say goodbye to Darcy and Darren and jump in the car ourselves and head home to Torquay. Righto, we just stopped to fill up water and then we've driven on to our next destination, which is at home on the farm, and we've stopped, so we've travelled 5 kilometres, but guess what? Someone forgot to lock the fridge door. Thankfully, that's all it is. We don't have eggs and yogurt all over the floor, but looks like I have not learnt my lesson about these short water stops. For the next couple of months, this quiet corner of our mate's farm became home. We know how much we love free camping, the peace, the space, and the freedom that comes with being completely self-sufficient. So instead of staying in a caravan park, we parked up here. No neighbours, just a few metres away from us, no traffic, no crowds, just peaceful mornings, wide open paddocks, a coffee outside, and the chance to just be for a while. And one of the best parts of being home was spending time with our granddaughter. 3 years old, everything is an adventure. Whether it was a trip to the aquarium, Bubble Planet, or just wandering around the market, seeing the world through her eyes reminded us to slow down and appreciate the little things. But our favourite moment wasn't a big day out at all. One rainy afternoon, she decided she wanted a campfire. So there we were in the courtyard of a suburban home with the rain falling around us, doing our best to bring a little piece of our travelling life into hers. It was such a simple moment, but one we'll never forget. One thing we've learned about coming home is that life doesn't stop while you're away. Our family and friends are still working, raising families, and living busy lives. So we simply made the most of every chance we had to spend time together, even our furry friends. Even though we were home, we couldn't quite shake that travel bug. So while the weather was still on our side, we jumped in the combi, headed for the coast and explored a few places in our own backyard that somehow we'd just never made the time to visit before. It reminded us that you don't always have to travel hundreds of kilometres to find somewhere beautiful. Sometimes it's been there all along.
And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day. I'm gonna let the past be filled with smoke. And I will try to fix what has been broken. Take this weight off my shoulders, 'cause I know.
So here's something that you might not know about me. In 2011, I started up a candle brand called LOOSHA Candles and was making my own candles and selling them. And the Cowrie market was the place where I really launched that brand. So I then sold to a lovely lady by the name of Vanessa, who is still running LOOSHA Candles today. So 16 years later or 15 years later, I am so proud that that brand is still living, and I'm going to go and see if I can find Vanessa.
Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day.
One thing people don't always see about full-time travel is everything that happens between the adventures. So when your caravan's your home, there's always a list of jobs waiting for you. And while we were parked up, we made the most of the time, got everything ready for the next chapter, wherever that might be.
Fly away, heading to the sun, only you and me. Don't wanna waste another day being stuck here in this place. No. Sunset in your eyes. Baby, I want us to act like we are 22 right now.
So one of the things that I'm going to suggest is that always carry some electrical stuff. because I've got to say we've had to use this stuff quite a lot on our travels. I'm just replacing a pump in the truck that's now 3.5 years of age. I've already replaced one in the Caravan, which lasted about 2 years. So carrying the right sort of gear makes life a lot easier. If you're out somewhere remote, so carrying this gear just helps you out. Just another desert tip.
So I don't know whether you're going to get the perspective, but this is ants. This is the remnants of us trying to get rid of them. We got slaughtered, and this is just only a few. They've gotten in through a seal on the floor and started to occupy some of our stuff. That's the remnants of what I tried to clean up yesterday. It was a losing battle, so in the end I've just bombed it. But there's still some survivors, so it's going to take us a while to try and clean this up and get this back to a bit more bug proof, unfortunately.
So yesterday, Daz bombed the container with an insect bomb, which has killed lots of them, but you can see we've pulled some boxes off shelves. There's still so much ant and ant nest residue around, still lots of crawling ants. So we've pulled boxes off shelves, open boxes, and we're going to bomb it again, and hopefully that will knock it on the head, but I think we probably will buy new boxes and repack what's already in there. But thank goodness we found it now and not as we were about to leave. At least we can do something with it now. This was so overwhelming. Every single box needed to be unpacked and cleaned out. Even our photo albums had ants in between the pages underneath the sticky perspex.
So it definitely seems like it's the cardboard that's let most of them in, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the cardboard.
So we'll do a shuffle of, although in saying that, this one let a lot in.
Yeah. Maybe they're attracted to the paper.
Paper, yeah. It says that.
Well, at least we've got a project now.
We needed one.
Oh, wonder if we can get a skip delivered. All right, clothes sorted, ants dead, hopefully. Everything's repacked and ready for another stint of storage. As much as we'd loved being home, autumn had well and truly arrived. The days were getting shorter, the mornings colder, and keeping both ourselves and the van warm was becoming a full-time job. We'd originally planned to head to Cape York months earlier, but the fuel crisis had changed those plans. Now things had settled down, and we knew it was time to start chasing the sun again. We just didn't know where we'd end up. And then we got a phone call.
What's that, Mick? You heading to where? Cape York? Mate, we're in.
And just like that, our plans changed. A few days later, we were packed up again, saying goodbye to Victoria and our family and friends and setting off on another adventure. This time, Cape York. Let's go! 4,000 kilometres to go. Next time, we begin the long journey north towards the very tip of Australia. We can't wait to take you with us. Until then, stay salty.